Probably
Us
disgusting.
being
Late.
late. Yeah.
And late and
A day late and a dollar short.
Yeah.
What they say. Oh,
And,
I'm on that cord. I knew I'd be on that cord.
there we go. Oh, look at the mess behind me.
Oh well.
You hide that mess?
Yeah, I can.
I
That's a
know.
really good door.
Our house is really neat this morning. Good morning, Janet.
Well, some of that mess is mine piled on the top that I want to show you today.
Oh, right, yeah. So I'll
We
blame
have
that
a
mess
glare.
behind. Yeah, and my curtain's not thick enough to get rid of it. Sorry, everybody.
We do.
Good morning, Janet. Are you caught up?
I can show my chicken salad blocks while we're waiting for people
Oh,
to get
yes.
on.
I can't wait to see them.
So, I don't know how many of you guys know, but Lori Holt just started a new sew along with her,
Hi, Lorraine.
well, what's the name of that fabric line? Cookbook. And if you like chickens or roosters, you'll like it. Which apparently I did not realize there's so many people who do not like chickens
I know,
and
until you
roosters.
started working at it. And people come in and it's like, roosters?
Who wants roosters on a quilt or chickens on a quilt?
Yeah.
So I just brought a
Morning,
few blocks
Denise.
to show
Hi,
you
Liz.
because
Hi,
we have all
Stephanie.
this fabric in the shop except the background, and that should be arriving. It was shipped out on the 7th of February, so it should be here either this week in the reveal or at the latest next week. So the sew
Hi,
along,
Sherry.
there's all these different chickens. Aren't they cute?
They like chicken.
Deb's big eyes.
That was not bad. That was not bad.
You don't like the one sitting on her eggs?
Oh, I don't like it as well as that.
Okay.
That's kind of cute.
Yeah. So
Donna-
apparently you have to be a bird lover, maybe. I don't know.
And a Lori Holt lover. Donna's got no audio. Does anybody else have that problem? Everybody else hearing us? I think we would have heard it by now.
Oh, that would be good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, that's just a few of them. There's 12 of the blocks all
Good morning,
together,
Carol.
and then like borders or whatever. And yes, they are applique
Oh,
with this.
Carol. Isn't Carol's quilt still here?
Yeah,
Carol,
she's
do
mine.
you care if we show your quilt? Give us an answer, yes or no, because we'd like to.
Has anybody answered whether they can hear us?
Well, they're saying so cute, so hearing just fine.
Okay,
Janet says.
perfect.
Okay,
So then it's just
Carol, we're gonna go get your quilt and we're gonna show it unless
she says
unless you
before
say
I get back
no.
here that we can't.
Ruth's been waiting since 5:30.
What?
Ruth's been waiting for this block since 5:30.
Okay. So has Carol answered?
Carol hasn't answered.
Oh, dear.
Oh, she said, sure, go ahead.
Okay, so tell a little story about Carol. So Carol is a relatively new quilter. I think she said prior to this she had made some 9 patches,
Yeah.
and that might have been about it. And look at the amazing job she did on this.
I just quilted it for her.
Look, isn't it sweet?
Look at the cat with the birds. Isn't that
Isn't that sweet? And up close, look at her stitching here.
Yeah. Like, look at that.
Isn't it cute? Like, she did an amazing job for a new
Yeah.
quilter. I'm
Yeah.
so proud of her.
And it laid so flat and
She
quilted
did an
so
awesome,
nice.
awesome job.
Yeah. Carol, you should be proud.
Yeah.
I love it.
Look at that pretty backing, too. Isn't that sweet?
All right. Okay, so somebody just sent me 5 quilts on Monday, and I paid the shipping to get them here, and I paid the shipping to send them back. And so if anybody's interested in that service, I do offer that. You just have to give us a shout, buy your backing and your batting from me, and then I will ship it to and from you. Oh, Carol, I can't wait for you to see it in person.
Okay, are we ready to
We're ready to go.
Okay, so there's a bit of a story this week.
A story?
Well, you're going to have a couple, different options.
Yes, okay.
So, the actual pattern this week.
Yes, I do, Janet.
What do you do?
She said, do I need more people for the retreat?
Oh, okay.
I called the retreat yesterday, and everything's okay if it's not a catastrophe, if I'm short a few people, but I still would like to fill it up for their sake because this is the first conference that they've held since COVID started, so they're really excited about us coming, and they want to make it a special event.
And
So
it's such a nice venue. Like, it's
It is so
perfect for this.
So hopefully we get it filled up for them, for their sake.
Okay, so this week's pattern, you're going to have a couple different options. I don't know how many of you follow Fat Quarter Shop or anything like that, but this week's pattern, they just started a new sew-along called the Heartfelt Sew-Along. So every year they do a sew-along that they donate money or whatever, and it's a free pattern, and they just ask that you make a donation, but you don't have to. So we're going to do this block, which Deb's photocopier needs ink, so it's not real bright. So the pattern will give you the directions to make each individual block, which is a sawtooth block with a heart in the center, or, and we're going to show you Deb's row, or you can do the sawtooth around the outside and put any 6.5-inch block on in the center. So we're going to show you
So
both.
if some people have orphan blocks from other quilts that are 6.5, but if they're not 6.5, if they're like 4.5 or 5.5, you can build them up.
And I'll show you that on mine. So this is Deb's. I got it right side up.
Yeah.
Okay. So Deb went with the actual pattern. So
I followed the pattern.
So you can see that there's the little heart in the center of each block, and that's what the actual pattern is. But you can also just do the part out here, and then, whoops, have you got it?
Actually, hers is cuter, I think. I like my fabric, but I like your blocks better.
And I opted to do an orphan thing and just do my own thing. So you can use anything at all.
So
and there's tons of free patterns online for 6-inch blocks. So you need a 6.5-inch block when it's unfinished.
So the pattern we're giving you is with the heart in the middle, like I've done.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, if you want to go out on your own, get a 6.5-inch block.
So like that's just a pinwheel, right? A 6.5-inch pinwheel. That's just a checkerboard with 1.5-inch squares.
You cut these 1.5 inch?
Yeah. Or you can strip sew.
Yeah.
Right?
These
Like
are
a strip of 1.5 inch. Yeah. Or you could do like a 9-patch in the center or a 4-patch, right? That's just that's simple. That is just a 3.5-inch strip by 1.5 inch, and you put a little 1.5-inch half square triangle on that end.
Look at the heart. I like the little heart.
So that was a little orphan block I had at home, and it wasn't quite big enough, so I just put a border around it. So even if you've got 4-inch orphan blocks at home, you can just build up your... And
this looks like it's left over from our first mystery.
It is.
We did. Is it?
It is. Yes. So that is just a 3.5-inch square with a little half square triangle. So like you can do anything you want in the center.
So
simple,
I'm suspecting
simple.
we're going to see lots of creativity.
I can't wait to see. Or if you're an appliquer, you could leave the center blank and put an applique in the center.
Oh, you could easily do that too.
Yeah, like all kinds of options to make it your own.
Yeah.
But the pattern will give you the cutting instructions for
the heart.
For the heart that Deb did, and for your outer border that you're going to use around any 6.5-inch
And you know what I like?
block.
What you just did, I just noticed. Some of her backgrounds, like I put all light backgrounds, but look at the random dark backgrounds she put in there.
Yeah, I did.
So like that kind of just breaks up the row.
Yeah.
So she didn't use all light backgrounds.
No, I didn't. I'm totally scrappy. Totally scrappy.
You are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's going to look really nice with the orphan blocks. And I think that's where we're going to see the individuality coming from all of you guys.
Yeah, I do too. I can't
wait.
Nice I hope somebody does some applique. Just to see what they come up with. I think that would be so cute to have applique.
Anyway,
or
so the finished size of the block is 12.5.
12.5 by 12.5. So for the queen size, you need 7. So anytime we do a 12.5-inch block in this quilt, you need 7 without sashing. Will give you an 84.5-inch row. If you're going to do the throw size, do 4 without sashing, and that will give you a 48.5-inch row. Okay. Some of our rows need sashing, but the 12.5-inch blocks don't. Okay? And we're going to show...
I'm going to sew one together.
She's going to sew one together. We're going to show you how it's laid out there first, and then we're going to look at the squaring up with the new ruler. Right?
Yes. We're going to use the new... But the method that... We're using this new ruler on this flying geese, but we're going to teach you another week, probably in a couple of weeks, how to make a different flying geese and still use the same ruler.
Yeah, because this ruler will work with any flying geese.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to try to get this. I'm sorry, guys, about the tape. We're going to try to be quiet.
I thought that the new tape would be, my new holder would be here by today, and it's not, so we're hoping for Friday. Doing the best we can do. Sorry about the noise, everybody.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry.
Kaboom. Okay, so this is, oh, Deb stole one. Lay that down.
Okay.
So there you go. You can see that you just have your 3.5 by 6.5 inch base. And then you're going to take a 3.5 inch square and do a half square triangle on each end. And that's what these four are around here. Just a plain 3.5 inch square in each corner. And then we'll talk about the heart there in a minute. Or you're going to have a blank in the center and do whatever you want. There goes Deb with her corner to corner.
So, should I sew down there just to show them?
Should you sew down there? What are you talking about?
I'm just going to sew down here. Just hold it together. Sorry, I just...
Hold it together. What are you talking about?
Look, if I do this...
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
You're going to be able to save this for another week.
So if you take an extra seam, just leave enough room between your two seams.
We'll square them up next week, or some week.
Yeah. But it saves your scraps and gives you a half square triangle very quickly, right? That you can use. You might even be able to use some in your orphan blocks.
Oh,
in the center, right?
Oh, yes, you could. Oh, you could easily.
Yes. Yes. So she does her corner to corner. And now she's going to take that seam and leave enough there that she can cut roughly a 1/4 inch seam down in the middle on between the two rows of stitching.
And then just cut between them.
Yeah. And there is her half square triangle that she can use.
And we'll save that for
And I'm pretty sure that that will square up to a 2.5.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah.
Because it was a 3.5 to start with. So I bet we could square it up to a 2.5, which is a very common size to use.
Yeah, I probably should have saved all my others yesterday.
You should have seen this floor last night. Cracks me up because her sewing room looks like my sewing room.
So I'm just, instead of drawing lines, I'm just folding. But if you wanna draw a line, you can draw a line there to sew on.
Oh, Steph, you missed my chickens. The chicken in the back. I showed some blocks at the start.
You'll have to video.
Yeah, you'll have to watch. It's the new Lori Holt chicken salad sew along. So I had brought 4, I think, of my blocks to show or whatever. So, oh, Steph says she does that method with hers, with her half square triangles.
Does she draw lines?
And so does Lynn. Like to make the second half square, does the second seam, yeah. It just saves
keeps it together, and
it
then
does.
you can square it up after.
Yeah.
So there's
and there
two.
Are tons of patterns out there that just by rearranging half square triangles, you can get so many different looks, right? Like in a scrappy block, you could do a whole quilt with scrappy half square triangles.
So we are not posting the instructions for all the individual orphan blocks that Twyla made, because that would like take her forever to type them out.
But it's any 6.5 inch block. So if you have any patterns that you've used in the past with a 6.5 inch block, or if you go on Pinterest and just type in 6 inch free pattern blocks or whatever, there's just tons, but just simple ones, like a simple log cabin in the center.
That would be cute.
Yeah, a simple 4 patch, like with that little half square triangle. It can be very simple, and because it's a 6 inch block, very common sizes and easy to figure out.
So when I go to square these triangles up, I don't really have to worry about anything, especially if I use my slotted trim ruler, because on that slotted trim ruler, you just lay along that line. It doesn't matter if I'm off a little bit when I cut. Yeah. That's what I like about that.
Yeah, the slotted trim ruler is an awesome ruler.
Yep. So when I sewed, I should give them a warning, when I sewed all my hearts together, I was so proud of myself. I laid them out on the floor and I looked at them all. I was like, oh my soul. I had some of the hearts going sideways. I had some of them going upside down.
I told her she should have saved it to show you guys, but she took it apart.
I thought I should save it and show you how quick with this electric seam ripper that they came apart. It took me like 2 minutes to take them all apart and redo them.
Faye, a lot of people prefer to draw the line and sew on it, and that's fine. It's whatever.
It's whatever you get used to.
There we go. She's almost through her points.
This is pretty boring for most of you because this is a pretty basic should have had some of them done so they don't get bored watching me.
I can't wait to see what everybody's going to put in their center. Lynn, I think some of your fancy stitching on your machine that you've been doing would be cute in the center of some of them too.
So I'm doing the center of the heart now.
Okay, so the heart is actually made with 2 pieces that are 3.5 by 6.5 out of your main color that you want your heart to be. And then there's a 1/2 square triangle added on the bottom corner that's out of a 3.5 by 3.5. That's what she's doing now. Then the upper outer corner is a 2.5-inch square that goes corner to corner. That's what she's doing there now, making her little crease. So there's that one. So that's the upper outer corner on each side. So obviously on the other half, it would be the opposite corner that you're going to do. And now that's a 1.5-inch going on the inner corner to make the little cleft in the, what did you do?
This thread. Showing up every time I don't look up and check that, it happens.
Sandra says, you're our Canadian Jenny Doan. She loves watching you sew.
Oh my. Because I'm so slack. Can I get a second pair of eyes though? Like my eyes are starting to... Especially when I know people are watching me, huh?
Steph, I'm not sure what you mean. Not the flying geese, but the 2 blocks attached to them. What's up with that? Do you mean the... I'm not sure what you mean, Steph. Are you talking about the center blocks, the heart?
So there's part of my heart.
So there is, that's the right-hand side, right?
Yep.
So now she's going to do the...
Oops.
Whoops. After she gets done picking it up. So this is the left-hand
So
side.
now
So make
let
sure
the-
that you put your diagonal going the right way.
You don't want it to go this way. You want it to go this way.
Stephanie says glide always pops out of the needle. I think it's all to do with the setting on your
It's the
machine.
tension on my
Because
machine.
I
It's
don't
like-
have any problem with glide popping out of mine. But I did it till I got my button on the top
You know
set
why
right.
mine pops out is because when I stop my machine, it jumps. You watch that thread. When I stop, you watch how it jumps. Put the camera up there just so they can see. See how it jumps? See how that jumps?
Yes,
And then
yeah.
it gets, if I don't pay attention, it wraps around that post, and then that's creates too much tension and it makes my thread come undone. But I get sewing and I forget to look at it. So we have a heart. Yeah, so this is all to do with tension on this movie.
Okay.
I changed my foot.
So now she had her other foot on because she was doing all those diagonal seams.
And I don't sew anything without this foot on. I love it.
So before you join any of those, we're going to show the ruler and square up those.
Yeah, so
Right.
I'm going to hold the camera and let you do something.
Oh, okay. So there's not going to be a lot to trim.
Did we turn the iron on?
Yep, it is now.
Okay.
But I've got some I can show you
Oh,
first.
right, yes.
So on here. So on Deb's, because she followed that pattern, which is cut more precise, she's not going to have a lot to trim. It's just going to be a little bit to trim probably. I happen to make some oversized ones for some of mine. So this is where you guys, this is the new ruler. It's called the Ultimate Flying Geese
Can
ruler.
we hold that to get something dark so they can see it? Maybe the, yeah, I'll go down like this. Yeah, that's
So this is the Ultimate Flying Geese ruler. And you will see that it has a little table here. So this is the most confusing part that you've got to get in your head. This is the finished size. So when we say we want a 3.5 by 6.5 inch for this pattern, that isn't the finished size of that flying geese, whatever. Yeah. The finished size, once it gets sewn into a block, will be 3 by 6. So you've got to look down this column and find which size you want. So finished, we want a 3 by 6, which is associated with the letter F, which this is probably all backwards to you guys on there. So then you will also see on here that there's one corner that says trim number 1. and one corner that says trim number 2. So obviously you start with trim number 1.
Okay.
So you put down your flying geese. We want the F. So I'm going to find the peak in here that's labeled F. Okay. So there's like A, B, C, D, E, F. So F is this white one. So every other one, there's a black one, then there's a white one, which you might not there. Can you see it better there? The white line?
Yeah.
So F is this white one here. So you're going to put that point up in the point of your...
So we're going to put F.
Yeah, right up in there. And if you're an exact sewer, you're going to be right on the line there. Obviously, mine is off a little.
It is not. It looks exact.
Well, no, it's off a little. But so if you're off a little, center it as best as you can. And then whoops, there we go. Then you're going to trim this side and across the top.
This is nice where this mat comes.
Okay.
I love this rotary mat.
So we're just going to do those 2 cuts across the top and down the side. Then this is where the trim number 2 comes in. You flip your ruler, you flip your flying geese, you find that F again, which is here, and this time your point is upside down because you flipped it. Settle your correct marking in your V, and then trim your final 2 sides.
All right.
And there is your...
Perfect. Flying geese. And you have your 1/4-inch seam there every time. You do.
But so the trickiest part to remember is that you want, when it says finished size, yours is a 3.5 by 6.5, but when you sew it in, it will be a 3 by 6. So you've got to find the correct size here to associate with the correct letter.
Okay, so is that flying geese you made just for something specific? Is that needed for anything?
Yeah, I'm putting it in my quilt. Oh, my strip is missing 2 stars.
Oh, okay.
I only had 5 stars in mine.
Well, if that had been scrap, I was just going to get you to cut it down to a smaller one just to show a different size, but that's fine. So let's trim another just so they can see it down again.
Okay. Let's iron one of yours and see, because I don't think on yours that there's going to be hardly anything to trim because the pattern was making it basically for that size. Yeah. So here's Deb's. We're going with the F line because it's the same. Look at that. She's right on. So if you can just scoot in there to show them the top, can you? See across the top.
See that little wonk?
Right there. See that little bit showing there? So we're going to go across there. And she's got a little bit of a wonk here, but not bad.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, but it's not bad. Then we're going to flip it. We're going to flip the ruler to the trim number 2 side, settle our letter F marking lines into the flying geese, right like so, except I apparently am cross-eyed and drunk this morning because I can't get it straight.
You shouldn't drink for breakfast.
There we go. Well, you know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And then we're going to trim. Now, Deb is off a little bit here.
I am.
But that's fine. She'll
that
adjust that in her seam allowance.
The flying geese ruler is $34.
It is.
Yeah.
So
do another.
Do we have? Is this a waist one? No.
Yes, that is a waist one.
Is it? Well, let's iron that and cut that puppy down.
Oh, yes, good idea. So we're going to cut that down just to show you. So let's make this a different size from the ruler.
So let's do 2 by 4.
Yeah.
Finished. Is that? Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do it 2 by 4.
Okay.
Because that's going to downsize it quite a bit.
I'm glad you noticed that.
So we're going to go over here. We want a finished of 2 by 4. So now we're going to go to the D. So we're going to settle the D arrow. So see how much we're actually going to trim off the side this time? Because we're doing a 2 by 4.
Yeah. So, and then there wouldn't be any wonk on that afterwards.
Now we're going to turn it.
If you want a perfect one, they could on purpose make them a little bit bigger.
So this is D that we're following, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And there we go. And we're going to trim all this extra. And there's your 2 by 4.
Woohoo! A perfect flying geese.
So that's your ruler. So your key is to find your finished size here, find the letter, and then find the right point that you're following. A, B, C, D, whatever. Yep. Start with trim 1 with your point facing up.
Yeah.
flip it to point down, flip your ruler to point down, and then do the next 2 sides.
Yeah. That's
Easy
pretty
peasy. This ruler's nice. It actually has, see those round circles?
Yeah, it's got grippies
It's
on
got
the back.
grippies on the back, so it really, and all along there.
It works well, doesn't it?
It does. It
Yeah.
does. So I'm just trying to think if there was anything else. I told you that you need 7. Your strip is going to, for the queen size, it's going to finish at 84.5 inches when you join 7 together without sashing. For the throw size, just join 4 together without sashing. And I'll post the pattern. And can't wait to see. You guys got to start posting what you guys do with your blocks.
So there's a couple questions. Ellen, what material did you use in the blue and white flying geese you just squared up? The blue and white flying geese.
So that one, if you're talking about this is a Tim Holtz fabric. And this is a grunge called, marble?
Yeah, I think it's marble.
Marble.
Yep.
So that's the background Deb's using in all of her quilt that she's doing. But this is a Tim Holtz.
Janet Flynn says, does it say how much to cut out each block? Yeah, the instructions will tell you how much background to cut and how much color to cut.
So one thing I will tell you, and I don't know if we can see it here, because this is a free pattern.
Can you back up a bit for my next time?
Oh, sorry. Because this is a free pattern, it's making a row with 5 of these blocks.
Yeah.
So it tells you here, when it tells you right there,
the
background, it's for 5 blocks. I'm going to write in down here what you need for background for 1 block, for a single block.
So then you multiply that by 7.
But then this star print is for each star because they did different prints in each one.
Oh, yeah.
So that is individual. And the heart print is for 1 star. So it tells you exactly how much to cut. Yeah. The only thing you have to watch is that your background, if you're using different background, you wouldn't cut 20. Mm-hmm. You would cut individually if you're doing a scrappy.
So somebody wants to know that ruler is called the Ultimate Flying Geese Ruler, if you're interested in that.
By, I forget who.
If you don't have the Flying Geese Ruler, don't worry about it, Deanna. It's just, this is the way we've chosen to make them. We find that they come out without sewing your tips off, and they're just they're neat.
But the pattern is giving you the right size that if you sew accurately with a 1/4 inch seam, your flying geese should measure 3.5 by 6.5 like it's supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah. So this ruler can be used not just only in this quilt, but any flying geese because of the variety of sizes.
It can.
So the center block, Janet wants to know, is that 6 or 6.5?
It's got to be 6.5 when you're joining it into your star points.
And it'll sew into a 6 piece.
Once it's all sewn into the star points, if you measure just the top that you see, it would be 6 inches square.
Yes, exactly. Let me see. Does anybody else have any questions? Just wait, let me read what Jackie wrote. The lady that developed this ruler, as you call it, she says it's a tool, not a ruler. That's true.
It is true.
On the front of it says Flying Geese Tool.
It does. Ultimate Flying Geese Tool designed by Deb Heatherly.
I don't know, but I guess it's really not a ruler, I guess.
No, it's not, because you don't really measure per se. It is a tool just to make things a bit more accurate, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's it. Can't wait. So next week is Deb's close. So along with the ombre options. And that will be Wednesday at 9. So we will see those of you that are following that one then. And this will do the next row of the open 2 weeks from Wednesday.
Do you like Twyla's top?
Yeah. Do you like my new top? Someone gave me this top. It's lovely. Can you guess who?
Okay.
Okay, guys.
Yes, I have lots of rulers in the shop. Just give us a private message, but we do have them, and we plan to carry them all the time.
Yeah.
So thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.